Okay, it is 5:30, so the Norfolk Public School District's Board of Education meeting is called to order. We'll begin with roll call.
Brenda Carhart. Present. Jake Clausen.
Here.
Tammy Day. Here. Jenna Hatfield.
Present.
Leanne Widhelm.
Present.
Sandy Wolf.
Present.
All members are present. We do have a quorum.
Thank you, Dr. Thompson. This is a legal meeting of the Board of Education as advertised by the means specified in board policy. A copy of the Open Meetings Act is posted in the boardroom for your review. A copy of the agenda is available at the desk of the recording secretary. Please stand and join us in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. We will begin with public comments. This is the time during the meeting when the public may request to address the board. According to state law, if you wish to comment, you must identify yourself, including your address, the name of the organization you represent, and the topic that you wish to address. Public comment cards are located at the media table in the back of the room. Please pick up a card and provide the required information if you plan to speak. Each individual's comments will be limited to 5 minutes. Please note that the board cannot discuss or act upon matters that are not listed on the agenda. Therefore, board members will not respond to your comments or questions. If you wish to request that an item be placed on a future board agenda, you may contact the superintendent or her assistant during normal business hours. Also note that concerns related to school personnel need to be addressed to the superintendent using the approved district protocol. Would anybody like to come forward?
Hello, thank you. Again, thank you, Board of Education, for allowing the public to speak. I just have a question. The agenda tonight.
Excuse me, your name, please.
Oh, I'm sorry, Randy D.
Thank you, Randy. And your address?
1614 Westwick Drive, Norfolk, Nebraska.
Thank you, Randy.
I just had a question this evening. I know there's a vote tonight on a funding issue. Let's see, what is it? The Nutrition Services Fund, $292,109.21. A recent occurrence going through the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Is that funding actually come from that? I know you can't respond to that. When you discuss it, I want you to, if you could. The Biden administration just suggested that they do not want to fund any school that does not, how do you want to put it, Title IX, and add that into the gender identity and sexual orientation. I want to know if the public school board here has brought that to their attention, and is that going to affect your vote, or are you going to discuss that this evening? That's it.
Okay, thank you, Randy.
Thank you.
Would anybody else like to speak? Okay, that will close the public comments. We're on to information and discussion items. 5.1, finance and facility. Dr. Robinson.
Thank you, Madam President. The total amount of claims to be approved on the consent agenda for the month of June by fund are listed below. This also includes the activity claims for the month of May. All these claims were reviewed earlier today by our Finance and Facility Committee. Attached are the reports for your review. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Dr. Robinson. 5.2, Teaching and Learning Report. Mrs. Nelson, Director of Teaching and Learning.
Thank you, Madam President. The end of the year always brings multiple tasks before we can actually say it is over. And the collection of end-of-year reports, scheduling of summer training, curriculum workshops, and data collection are just a few of those things. Our first workshop with a group of senior high teachers occurred on May 24th John Eller was the speaker. The day was interactive and focused on understanding student behavior, brain development, and professional practices that can recognize and respond to student needs. The junior high will have the same speaker on June 15th with similar topics. And we also had training for our kindergarten through 8th grade summer school teachers, and that was held on May 31st. And of course, summer school is well underway.
Just a quick question. Where it says a group of senior high teachers attended, was this open to anybody? Or?
Yep. All teachers were invited to participate. And you know, as summer would go, some teachers just can't. They're obligated to other things. There were about 35 teachers there. So 35 out of the, I don't know, I think senior high is 80-some teachers. So, yeah, it was a good turnout.
Is there information from that, so the teachers that couldn't be there, that they could get some of that information?
So there is a task force group that's working on these same topics, and they're putting together plans on how we can professionally grow with our other teachers throughout the year with the concepts that he shared with them. Yeah, in their PLC work. It's great professional learning community work, so yeah.
How are the summer school numbers? Up or down? Or?
You know what? I'm not probably the right person to answer that question.
Eric.
I have them for my report, but if you want to hear them now.
Thank you, Beth. 5.3, the annual multicultural report. Ms. Nelson.
Yes, in compliance with the State Board of Education Rule 10 and LB 79-719, Norfolk Public Schools has completed the multicultural education requirements for the school year 2021-22. The philosophy of multicultural education program is that students will have improved ability to function as productive members of society when provided with an understanding of diverse cultures and races, the manner in which the existence of diverse cultures and races have affected the history of our nation and the world, and the contributions made by diverse cultures and races. And B, the ability and skills to be sensitive toward and to study, work, and live successfully with persons of diverse cultures and races. The mission of the multicultural education program is to prepare students to A, value and respect their own culture and race, and cultures and races other than their own, and B, eliminate stereotypes and different treatment of others based on culture and race. The mission shall also include preparing students to eliminate stereotypes and discrimination or harassment of others based on ethnicity, religion, gender, socioeconomic status, age, or disability. The total lessons in reported categories are as follows within the district, and these are what are requested of to be reported per the law. African Americans, 1,434, Hispanic Americans, 1,075, Native Americans, 1,069, Asian Americans, 899, European Americans, 1,635.
Does this include all grades, or where is this?
This does, yes. This is a combination of throughout the entire district. So teachers, yes, ma'am. Yep, this is for 1 year. So teachers keep track of that, submit their report to the principal submits to me, and then I accumulate the numbers for the entire district.
Different grades teach different things at different times to get this total.
Absolutely, yep.
Thank you, Beth. 5.4, annual Americanism reports.
Correct, yes. Thank you. In compliance with state school law LB 399, the American Civics Bill, all building Americanism compliance reports have been submitted to the Director of Teaching and Learning Office. Teachers' reports have been submitted to building administrators on American civics and are filed within the buildings for review as needed. Compliance reports confirm that buildings social studies curriculum stresses the required patriotic themes. Above curriculum requirements, buildings have conducted appropriate patriotic exercises for the following observations, as well as the senior high required American civics assignment: George Washington's birthday, Abraham Lincoln's birthday, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, Native American Heritage Day, Constitution Day, Memorial Day, Veterans Day, and Thanksgiving Day. And if you want to know why that's what's written in the law, and I guess I haven't studied the reason why. That's just how they put that together, and that's a recently added law to our curriculum. So,
Native American Heritage Day, is that Columbus Day or no? Which one's, or is Columbus Day not included?
Columbus Day is not included. That would be a different one.
Have to then. Columbus Day is not
Yeah,
required.
You're not required to report on it, but we certainly, I'm more than sure we recognize that day.
Thank you again, Beth. 5.5, Student Programs Report. Mrs. Lure.
Thank you, Madam President. I have a special announcement tonight. Jill Hoffert, who is our coordinator for our Northeast Nebraska program for children who are deaf and hard of hearing, will be presented with the Dr. Turk Excellence in Education Award at the Nebraska Commission for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing board meeting this Friday, June 17th. It's an award that is elected by amongst her peers. So we're very excited for her. And then in special education, summer school will be held June 1st through June 24th. We all have our own little summer school twist to it. We should have talked. The following schools host our special education live programs: Westside Elementary for our K-4 students, middle school for our 5-8 students, meaning junior high is also located at the middle school, and then senior high for our 9-12 students. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
5.6, Student Services Report. Mr. Wilson.
Thank you, Madam President. Surprise, surprise, we have completed a week and a half of summer school. The official end of summer school is June 24th. We currently have enrolled 121 students at Washington, 107 students at Westside, 31 students for the middle school, 30 students for the junior high, and 343 students at the high school. Each of those levels, there's different things and different goals they're trying to accomplish. Obviously, at the high school level, we have lots of students either working ahead on credits or trying to get caught up on credits. That's why that number is so high. Reminder, our summer AFS graduation ceremony will be held at 6 p.m. on June 16th at the Senior High Main Gym. And then on May 24th, approximately 30 students from Norfolk Public School, 30 students and Norfolk Public School staff participated in the Regional 11 Emergency Management Hazmat event. We appreciate the partnership we have with our local emergency responders. Learning together from training opportunities like these help us all grow and be better prepared. On that same note, on June 8th and 9th last week, I traveled to Lincoln with both of our activity directors, Bobby Reiser, our Regional 11 Emergency Manager, and Captain Ryman from the Norfolk Police Department. Together, we all participated in sports event risk management training. The training was to build capabilities for multi-agency collaboration pertaining to risk management for sporting events. We all continue to work together to ensure our students, staff, and community are as safe as possible at school and community events. I'll answer any questions.
At the sports event risk management training, was there one particular thing that stuck out to you or that you took away from it that you thought like, wow, like that was really, I was surprised to learn that, or anything huge?
There's just a lot of things that go into sports event risk management. We work really hard to help keep our schools safe, and 7:30 to 3:30, like we've got that locked down. It's at 3:30 to, whenever the football game or the basketball game gets over, what can we do to help ensure that we are as safe as possible in those events? So we're going to work together with our emergency managers and our firefighters, policemen, and before each season, fall season, winter season, and spring season, complete a risk assessment just to see if there's anything that we need to improve upon.
Thank you, Eric. 5.7, Human Resources and Accreditation Report. Mrs. Baumann.
Thank you, Madam President. I am not reporting on summer school.
On Tuesday, June 21st, next week, Norfolk Public Schools will host a job fair for our classified staff here at central office from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock p.m. Building principals will be available to talk with job seekers about available positions. Currently, we are looking to hire classroom paraprofessionals, special education paraprofessionals, custodians, substitute paraprofessionals, and a building secretary. There are positions available at all levels, pre-K through 12, and candidates can come and learn more about our available positions and have the option to complete applications on site. So I encourage you to spread the word about the MPS job fair. Any questions?
Thank you, Angie. 5.8, Superintendent's Report. Dr. Thompson.
Thank you, Madam President. Although our administrative team meets twice a month to discuss upcoming changes, issues, etc., it is hard for us to complete any comprehensive professional development during the school year. We tend to focus on the most pressing issues during the school year and save our professional development for our summer retreats. This year, we will hold summer admin retreats on June 16th, 22nd, 23rd, and August 1st. June 16th will focus on the continuous school improvement process and how it aligns with strategic planning, accreditation, and the principal evaluation process. June 22nd and 23rd will focus on leadership development. Dr. Paul Metler from Initiative 1 will cover the following topics: communication, change leadership, conflict leadership, developing trust, emotional intelligence, and wellness. August 1st, we will focus on the information needed to start the school year. We call it our Administrivia Day. It is long with a lot of various topics. We also attend administrator days during the summer on an alternating basis. Half of our team attends each year, with the exception of some of our central office administrators who are lucky enough to need to attend it annually in order to learn about new rules and regulations. In regards to nutrition funding, the media has reported that there are some potential changes coming. However, we have not received any official guidance from the United States Department of Agriculture regarding changes to our nutrition grant, or from the Office of Civil Rights regarding changes to Title IX. It would be premature for us to take any action at this point, as guidance often undergoes multiple changes prior to official enactment. Dr. Robinson, Mr. Wilson, and I will watch this closely and update you if and when we receive additional information. And finally, AFS graduation will be held this Thursday, June 13th at 6 o'clock in the senior high gym. The ceremony is less formal than our commencement ceremony held in May, but it is very touching, as these students have worked extremely hard to overcome some fairly substantial challenges. So I hope that you will be able to join us.
Going back to lunch, are you talking about the free lunch being funded? Is that what you were talking about, or is that something completely different?
No, the free lunches that were provided for anybody is going away. We know that already. What we are talking about is tying Title IX to all of our free and reduced lunch that we receive through the federal programming, which we really don't know if that will happen or not. I think it's premature to even discuss it at this point. We need to find out what's going to happen. And as I said, it will likely go through several changes before we know what's going to occur.
Thank you, Dr. Thompson. We are now to committee reports. 6.1, Facilities and Finance Committee. Tammy Day.
Thank you. The Finance and Facilities Committee met at noon today, reviewed the claims for June and the activity claims for May, and then we reviewed the following items. Just getting updates on the various projects happening. Summer is a busy time across the district. Reviewed RFP for district insurance. We looked at a proposal for compensation of student teachers and interns. Looked at a debit card request from Midwest Bank for using Panther mascot on debit cards. And then
talked about selling an old coach bus, minivan, and truck. So can look for those on sale soon. Our next meeting is Monday, July 11th.
Thank you, Tammy. We are to the Policy Committee report. Jenna Hatfield.
The policy committee met on May 31st to discuss policy revisions recommended by our school attorney to ensure our policies remain consistent with any new state statutes. Those policies included 1211, which is related to Title IX complaints of sexual harassment, 3132 related to internal controls, 3540 related to bidding construction projects, 4009 related to drug and substance use and abuse, 4133 related to substitute teachers, 6600 related to special education, 8346 related to public participation at board meetings, 8343 related to agenda construction and control, and 9340 related to board minutes. A lot of these were policies that were already in place. They were just updated, and then we reviewed those to make sure that we understood the updates based on what some of the new state statutes were. So the board also discussed a brand new policy, 9141, which was related to board member attendance. This clarifies when and how a board member's absence is excused, as well as when a board member's seat becomes vacant due to absenteeism. And so that one was took a little bit longer to digest just because it was something that was brand new. In the past, we've never had on our board a policy regarding that. But again, something that came through state statute recently, and we decided to go ahead and look at it for a first reading to implement as our board policy moving forward if it was passed. Any questions?
Thank you, Jenna. 6.3, Norfolk Public Schools Foundation Committee report. Brenda Carhart.
Norfolk Public Schools Foundation Board of Directors met on May 16th, 2022 at 4:30. 14 board members were present. President Jake Clausen shared with the board that he and Kellen Collins were at honors night on May 12th to award 57 scholarships worth over $72,000 to the Norfolk High graduating class. Norfolk Public Schools Foundation received 51 classroom grant applications from the staff that have been reviewed and scored. The selection committee will meet immediately following the board meeting for the final selections, and I know that all of them were given out. The classroom grants were met. The committee will award over $20,000 in grants to teachers that have asked for them for the 2022-23 school year. Recipients will be notified in June if they have been selected. The Foundation Dual Credit Scholarship application is now open. We're again offering 125 dual credit scholarships at $100 each for tuition to Northeast Community College. This is all courtesy of the Margaret Robinson Memorial Endowment. Only Norfolk High students enrolled in dual credit courses through Northeast for the 2022-23 school year are eligible to apply, and the deadline to apply is August 12th at 10 p.m. And most people wait until August 11th. It makes our job a little bit stressful.
Just a quick question to either Jake or Brenda. With the teacher grants, you said you received 51 grants. How many were actually granted?
All of them were granted.
Wow.
Varying amounts of money, so anywhere from $100 to $750, but it worked out that all of them could be granted. Granted too, so it's the second year. Last year they weren't all granted at the meeting, but then we put them out on the foundation's website, and then Help It Happen, it's under that, and then people can go and just support them themselves if they feel the grant is good and they like it. So that's another avenue for people to support the foundation is through the Help It Happen grants.
That's awesome. Very cool. Thank you, Brenda. We are to the consent agenda. 7.1, the minutes of the previous meetings on May 9th and May 23rd are attached. Personnel contract approval. Dr. Thompson.
Thank you. I have one contract for your consideration this evening. Jessica Sherman, to be hired as a third grade teacher at Woodland Park Elementary School. She is currently a long-term substitute teacher, reading Title I teacher at Washington Elementary.
Take Jamie Bloom's position then so that Jamie can be released.
So does that put us in a bind for a reading teacher at Washington then? Okay. Okay, thank you. We have no resignations and claims. Dr. Robinson.
Attached are the claims for June. As stated earlier, this was reviewed by Finance Facility, and this month there are no conflict statements.
Thank you, Dr. Robinson.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I second that motion.
We have a motion by Tammy and a second by Jenna. Is there any discussion?
I just have a quick question going back to contracts. So is that, I think we had 2 individuals that would be released from their contracts pending replacements. I think we were down to just the one. So we're good now on anyone who needed to be released from their contract? We are. Okay, just wanted to double check.
Okay, thank you. Please vote.
Motion carried, 6-0.
Thank you, Mary. Action items, 8.1, discuss, consider, and take action to approve the purchase of curriculum materials for the senior high financial literacy course. Mrs. Nelson.
Thank you, Madam President. With the addition of sections needed to teach the required financial literacy class, the senior high needs updated and an increased number of textbook resources. Teachers reviewed publishers and found them all to be very similar in content. 2 were chosen to pilot. McGraw-Hill's Personal Finance 14th edition was selected over Goodhart Wilcox Personal Finance 11th edition due to the online functionality for teachers and students. And when I say 14th, I emphasize that because not much changes other than updated language in the business world, really. And then obviously, like I said, it was chosen because of its functionality online. And so I do recommend the purchase of the finance textbook from McGraw-Hill.
So were these piloted in the spring?
Yes, yes.
They were piloted by 2 classes or a couple
Yes,
of?
yep,
Yes.
yep. 2 different teachers, yep.
And this came out of statute that was passed last legislative session requiring certain financial courses for our students now.
Correct. So as it would be, most juniors will be taking this course. Give or take, I know some students are ahead of the game, you know, when they're a sophomore, junior, whatever, but most juniors, that's kind of what it's intended for.
In a 1-semester class?
It is a full year
Oh,
course.
it is a full year.
It's 51,000 for 6 years or 51,000 per year? What, I don't,
That's the total amount. That includes a 6-year online subscription. So, right, so if you divided that by 6, that's how much it would cost per year.
so this is only online or you get books too?
No, you get books as well.
Okay, so it's good for
Must
6
be
years.
small books.
Well,
Books.
you know, it depends upon how many sections you need. Yeah, right. It's nowhere to the amount that we've talked and discussed before, but this is 1 grade level. And when we've talked about our English language arts, we had, you know, 6th through 11th grade. That was, you know, 5, 6 different grade levels.
And I think the state set kind of the timeline or the deadline by which this course needed to be implemented. And I know we've had previous conversations on the quick timeline turnaround made us have to get teachers in place to expand the number of sections. So kudos to you and your teachers for not only selecting 2 programs to pilot, but then piloting them and evaluating them. And, you know, we don't like to have to push those decisions, but also when the state sets a very strict deadline for us, we just have to work as efficiently, but do a good job at that. So thank you for that,
Yep,
so we
you're
can
welcome.
make this decision.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of the personal finance textbook and a 6-year online subscription from McGraw-Hill in the amount of $51,166.68.
Second that.
We have a motion by Jake and a second by Leanne. Is there any further discussion? Please vote.
Motion carried, 6-0.
Thank you, Mary. 8.2, discuss, consider, and take action to approve the purchase of curriculum materials for advanced placement English. Mrs. Nelson.
Thank you. I'm going to apologize in advance for my lengthy rationale. However, in my tenure of working at Norfolk Public, we have not updated the advanced placement books. And I think it merits an opportunity to just talk about what AP is and how that's used in our district. So NP, and not all districts have AP classes, I want to mention. So it is an opportunity for our kids. We offer 2 advanced placement courses in the English department, AP Language and Composition and AP Literature and Composition. Now, the purpose of an advanced placement course is twofold. One is to allow a senior high students an opportunity to experience and expand access to college-level English language arts, and 2, to potentially earn college-level English language arts credit by passing the advanced placement examination. Advanced placement courses are actually governed through the College Board. In order for schools to offer an advanced placement course, the school and teacher must submit a course syllabus for approval. An audit of course materials and syllabus are reviewed by college faculty to provide clear guidelines on curriculum and resources to ensure that the rigor meets or exceeds the expectations of a college and secondary school faculty for college-level courses. Specific standards are required to be within the advanced placement courses. Those concepts are similar to senior high standards, but are taught and practiced at a higher rigor with more mature and complicated text. The text chosen for the class meets the requirements expected from the AP course guide. It does include excerpts of stories that hold mature concepts, but no pieces of explicit text are within the textbook. Entire novel stories are taught in the AP Literature and Composition course. They are chosen based upon the provided guidance from the AP course guide, which specifies novels referenced on the exam. Novel selections chosen by the College Board emphasizes exposure to different cultures and time periods. The novels used at Norfolk High may change from year to year based upon the teacher's discretion and the availability of such novels in school. Specific novels used in, and this is an error on my part, 21-22, I meant this year, were Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr, and Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. The stories or novels in and of themselves can contain mature themes and sensitive topics, but are used as a means to address the priority standards of the course. The priority standards in AP Literature and Composition are function of the character, setting, plot, structure, narrator, word choice, imagery, symbols, comparisons, and to develop textually substantiated arguments to evaluate or interpret the text. The priority standards in AP Language and Composition are rhetorical analysis, writing process, argumentative writing, and formatting and documentation. The advanced placement courses are electives and they are not required courses. Teachers and guidance counselors communicate with students the content of the course and the rigorous expectations of the AP courses. The course is intended for college-ready students. Now, based upon the advanced placement guidance of the College Board and the teacher's discretion, I recommend the following purchases: Literature and Composition, Essential Voices, Essential Skills for AP Course, 3rd edition, and Critical Thinking, Reading and Writing. Do you have any questions?
So Beth, when you sign up for an AP course, don't the parents have to sign off on this?
They do not have to sign off on that, but it is really, like, there's not a lot of sections of these courses. It's for high-level students. They don't have to, no.
And they don't have to pay, it's only if they want the college credit?
If they want to, they have to pay to take that examination. And sometimes what they will find too is as a student's going through that course, if they aren't as confident in their skills, they may choose not to take that examination.
You might think of the dual credit where you do, as a parent, have to enroll your student. This is different. This is an advanced class with the option to test and see if you can pass out, which is very difficult. But as the fortunate parent of 2 college students right now, they both had AP classes at Norfolk High, and I don't think either one took a test, and I don't know that she got enough points, but they have talked about how the rigor and the advanced level of the classes has prepared them so well for their college level coursework, and in fact has made, those kind of intro level bio and English lit and things like that so much easier. So even if a student wouldn't take the test, there's a lot of value in having these kinds of opportunities available for kids who want that extra challenge and who do have plans to continue their education.
And do these courses, are they also weighted as far as their placement as?
Yeah, actually, that's a good point too. A student is allowed a 10% GPA. A loose word we use is bump, because of the rigor and the amount of work that a student has to put into it. If it's going towards their GPA, it allows them additional bump. I don't know how to explain that differently or better.
It doesn't say in here what books they're going to read with this new one then. You tell us what they read last year, but we don't know do we
Right.
know the books that we're going to read with this one?
Technically, they'll probably read the same ones again, unless the teacher, they might gauge as they get going through the first novel how students are doing. They may switch. We don't, in our, so to speak, our textbook cupboard, we have a certain amount of textbooks. So when I said in there, what's available in our textbook collection, our text collection. So, for example, you'll see Frankenstein over there. I have it setting out. That was one of them they used this year. That's a very popular and a very traditional, I remember reading Frankenstein when I was in high school as well, in my college level class.
But just for clarification, because I think I understood differently at our curriculum committee meeting, what we're choosing to purchase here is just like the curriculum, not the actual novels, correct?
Correct.
So
correct.
there's the board that oversees the AP courses. The college board has like a list of hypothetically like 20 acceptable novels to be taught in the AP courses, and they feel that those novels fulfill the areas that students will be
Right.
graded on.
Right,
And
because
then,
they're very, very in tune with what that exam includes.
right. And
Right.
then our teachers who are teaching the AP course can pick from that list of 20 acceptable novels which 3 they want to utilize in their classroom with our Norfolk Public students. But those novels aren't necessarily tied to the curriculum we're purchasing. Did I say all that correctly?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
And we are just purchasing companion books. They're not the novels, like you said.
Correct.
So
Correct.
the motion is actually for the 2 you listed, which are more like textbook or resource
Right,
books.
textbook, resource books,
Okay.
right.
That guide the teacher on how to discuss word choice, imagery, symbols
Precisely, yes.
from Frankenstein and whatever novels they pick.
Well, I would make a motion to approve the purchase of the listed textbooks at the total cost of $6,700.68.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion by Tammy and a second by Jake. Is there any further discussion?
Why is it so cheap? Seems
Because we don't offer a lot of sections of it. We only have 1 or 2 sections, so we don't need a lot of licenses, and I don't need a lot of textbooks.
only people in AP classes.
Absolutely. Right.
I've never read the books that she's listed. Have you read any of those, Frankenstein? And Have you read The Cannot See by Anthony Doerr and Their Eyes?
Very good, yeah.
Read any of them, so I didn't.
And I think in our curriculum committee meeting too, what we discussed was that if we were to go outside, I don't know if in order to fulfill the AP requirements according to the College Board, I don't know if our teachers are allowed to go outside that group of books, but if they had that ability, we would be doing our AP students or maybe our high achiever students a disservice because we wouldn't be accurately preparing them for that next college course that they would go into. So the idea is that if you can pass this AP course, a lot of times you can skip like the intro to English or intro to Lit and Comp in college, the 100 level course, and you can go straight on to the next upper level course. And so if we didn't teach the AP course to the rigor that the College Board expects using the literature that they recommend, we would be not preparing our AP students to skip that intro level course. So we have to make sure that we follow the rigor put forth by the College Board. Otherwise, we're having these students spend time on this course and potentially pay money to take this test, but not truly preparing them for the course that they would then enter into once they enter college.
And then this question to the curriculum group. Usually college level courses are more liberal based, so do you feel comfortable with this after researching it more than I have? The topics and the content of the class?
Yeah, I mean, I think the three books that have been chosen in the past are very tasteful selections. Again, because it's an upper level course and it's going to be usually seniors in this course. Again, students that are going to be going on to secondary education who are, they're taking this course. If they're taking this course their senior year, within a year, they're going to be having some of these discussions in a college course. And again, we want to prepare them for that if that's what their goal is. So while they're a little bit more mature in content, not something we'd maybe want to be, teaching with our 8th graders or something. I do think that, again, it's done in a good, well-balanced way to still prepare these students to pass that test ultimately, and then to be successful in that first year of college. But yeah, I feel comfortable with, and really I think all the books on the list where I felt like good options.
I don't think they're anything out of the norm, and I guess I probably just trust, our teachers to make that decision. I mean, they're the ones who are teaching it and trying to, I think Jenna's nailed it, and you've done a great job of, this is what you need to know to go to the next level. And I think you can be pretty sure that everybody in that classroom wants to do so, or they probably wouldn't be sitting in an AP Lit and Comp type of thing. But you never know. But yeah, I think you're right. I think generally, we can trust the teachers to choose those, and I think it's again not using specific text as much as it's using the themes and some of the imagery that is found in those texts to say this is how you write and read even at an advanced level. At least that's my concept of it.
And you're reflecting that very well. Yes.
We're not imposing this curriculum or these novels on our whole student body or all of our seniors. Again, it's students who choose and wish to enroll in the AP course, and it's an elective course. They're choosing to do it outside of their other coursework. So it's instead of doing AP Bio, they're choosing AP Lit and Comp. So there's other options too for those courses. I think this is a great opportunity for us to support we focus a lot on some of our students that maybe need extra support and extra help. Maybe our students that have lagged behind a little bit after, we were learning from home during COVID. We've invested a lot of money in those students and funding, but I think this is a great opportunity for us to update our AP Lit and Comp curriculum since it's been some time, and invest some money into those students too that are kind of, again, those higher achiever students, those ones that have done all of their coursework already in English that's required to graduate, and they're wanting to take that next step and maybe get this checked off their list and be able to, again, enter into college with some college credits under their belt already, or be able to skip into that next level. But I think just even going back to when I was in school, Norfolk Public Schools has done a great job in offering very quality rigor AP courses, because even going into dental school, the anatomy and physiology AP bio with Mr. Gannon, like some of his sayings in mnemonics like follow through with you, and you're sitting there taking a test in dental school on science and biochemistry, and you're like singing a little ditty in your head from Mr. Gannon. And Miss Henry, honor
He'd be
in
so
honors
happy to hear that.
English, Miss Henry, like I knew how to cite my sources because of Miss Henry, like never forget her. So we've just done a really good job of offering quality AP courses to our students, I
Yeah,
think.
absolutely right. And I think you make a good point. I mean, I think it's the entire gamut. No matter where our students fall on the scale, we want to provide everything that we can. And so, yeah, again, I think kudos are always, these are hard things, I think, to research and digest and try to find the right things. And again, no matter if it's a 7 through 11 type of, source, or if it's just 30 or 40 kids in a couple of sections. I appreciate all the work that you guys put into it.
And being on the Foundation Scholarships Collection Committee, where we had to read all the applications, and I think it's the Cindy Gibson Scholarship, where pick a book that, had meaning to your life, and you could tell some of the AP students that they chose some of the books that they read in these classes, and that it did bring meaning to them by having these books and discussing this material, and I could really tell that in their essays.
Okay. We have a motion and a second, so please vote.
Motion carried 6-0.
Thank you, Mary. We are on 8.3, discuss, consider, oh, my thing is going crazy, and take action to approve the 2023 Middle School Student Handbook. Mr. Wilson.
Thank you, Madam President. You'll see on tonight, we got junior high, middle school, and high school as well. These were all shared with you guys last week. Take a look at minor changes in all of them, just updating dates and personnel.
My question on all three of these was the addition of the vape lines. Was that something that came from our administrators or our school, or was that something from the state that this is an issue, we need to start adding this stuff?
I think across the nation, vaping has probably been an issue in a lot of schools. Last year, we installed vape detectors in our bathrooms, but we really didn't have anything in our code of conduct that necessarily supported those vapes and what the consequence for vaping in a bathroom would be, which is why those were added. Thank you.
I would make a quick comment also. I also really appreciated sort of the positive nature of including the behavioral standards and what everything goes back to with resourcefulness and respectfulness. So often I feel like the behavior pages of any of these things are just penal. You better not do this and you better not do that. And this was sort of like, hey, here's how to do the right thing, which I think is way more impactful for most kids that I know who are that age. So kudos to whoever had that idea. Yeah, kids that read it, right.
I'll make a motion to approve the 22-23 Middle School Student Handbook.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion by Tammy and a second by Brenda. Is there any further discussion? Please vote.
Motion carried 6-0.
Thank you, Mary. 8.4, discuss, consider, and take action to approve the 2022-2023 Junior High Student Handbook. Mr. Wilson.
I'll open it up to any other comments or questions.
I make a motion to approve the 2022-2023 Junior High Student Handbook.
Second that?
Motion by Jenna, second by Leanne. Any questions? Please vote.
Motion carried 6-0.
Thank you, Mary. And 8.5, discuss, consider, and take action to approve the 2022-2023 Senior High Student Handbook. Mr. Wilson.
Again, this would be the last one. Elementary on up is all done then, so.
Eric, I just had maybe one question, and Leanne, I appreciate you bringing it up about the vape policy. One of the changes in the senior high was if a student was found to be present, I think, in multiple vaping infractions. Could you maybe just expound on that a little bit? I apologize for putting you on the spot, but I just wanted to know if there was, like, sort of who decides, just so it's not too arbitrary, I guess.
No, good question. We actually keep a running list of who's in the bathroom when the vape detector goes off. We can see from the camera who comes out of the bathroom. We can't see in the bathroom. And these vapes are pretty tiny and pretty easy to hide. So we're just kind of tracking if, there's a chance you might have been in the bathroom when a vape detector went off and you didn't have a vape. But if it's, 2, 3, 4 times, like, okay, we're starting to see a pattern here. You're always in the bathroom, the vape detector's going off. You might not have one in your pocket, but it may be hidden on you somewhere, so.
That's a fair clarification. I appreciate that.
And I appreciate how easy they are to read with the red, so you can, just every
Yes.
year when we look at these, you can just make sure the changes are all there.
Yep, I agree. There was one other, this is just an administrative thing, but I think that the swim under the activities, I think that goggles was misspelled in there. It's on page 40 if you want to check it out. It's just one of the notes that I'd had. Sorry about that.
No,
Small thing, but I just don't want one of our kids thinking that they're buying Google, not goggles, for the $40 or whatever it was on there, because I think that's how it was misspelled, if I'm not mistaken.
Good
Should have
catch,
brought
thank
that
you.
up prior to the meeting, and but here we are. Other than that, awesome job. One spelling out of 55 pages, pretty good.
And the rest of all just read it as goggles.
You might have just promoted yourself to the policy committee. I mean, Tammy
Well,
needs someone, Tammy's really good
I'd
at
like to say it
formatting
was that
and-
AP Lit and Comp that I took that kind of prepared me to look for those spelling errors.
We have a motion
I'll
on
make
that.
a motion to approve the 2022-2023 senior high student handbook.
I'll second.
And a motion by Brenda and a second by Jake. Any further discussion? Please vote. Thank you, Mary. 8.6, discuss, consider, and take action to approve the sale of district vehicles. Dr. Robinson.
Thank you. The district currently has an old Setra coach bus, a 2000 minivan, and a 1977 Ford truck. All these vehicles need substantial work, and it would not be cost effective for the district to continue to maintain them. If the vehicles do not sell, the district will take them in for salvage and get salvage prices for them. Someone who is handy, mechanic with access to older car or bus parts may be interested. These items, if approved for sale, will be listed for sale through the Daily News, which will list contact information if someone is interested. I don't have a year for the Setra because there's the coach year and then there's the engine year. And sometimes they're not all assembled at the same time. So this coach is no different. The coach is older than the engine. So you just, when somebody comes and looks at it, you show them the engine year, and then the coach year is on the front, usually the tag. So why I know that, that's a longer story, okay? But
These vehicles been replaced? Have we since bought
Yes.
another coach bus, minivan, and?
yes, yeah.
What did we use that 77 Ford truck for all these years?
Well, I can't tell you what happened in '77, but since my involvement, when it was still running, it was on the mowing team. So, because the box kind of tilts, but it's been hit a couple times, and so I don't know how well it tilts anymore, but.
You're not doing a very good sales job.
No, I'm not. Actually, it can tilt very well if you know how to fix things, so. So.
It's a pretty retro truck, I'm thinking. Yeah.
Right. So, we drive them until they can't drive anymore, so. But somebody may be interested, if not, we'll scrap them.
Made me think of this. How did our sale of our computers that we voted on to sell those, how has that went?
So we've completed the staff sale. That was Wednesday last week. And we still have approximately 200, maybe 175 computers left. So I will advertise for a community sale coming up in the future here.
Community sale, just advertising on Facebook, or is it like a public auction?
We'll put it out through our communications team, probably in the Daily News, and we have that down in the maintenance building.
Maybe you can throw them in with the truck. I'll make a motion to approve the sale of district vehicles as presented.
Second that?
We have a motion by Tammy and a second by Leanne. Is there any further discussion?
The vehicles are as is. There's no warranty or returns. I'm being serious, because some people will want, so, that's right.
Please vote.
Motion carried 6-0.
Thank you, Mary. 8.7, discuss, consider, and take action to grant permission to seek RFPs for district insurance. Dr. Robinson.
Thank you, Madam President. Over the past several months, the Finance and Facilities Committee has had discussions about putting out an RFP, which is request for proposal for district insurance services. It has been several years since we have done this, and the committee felt it was in the district's best interest to go through the process before renewing for 2023. I did attach for board members the RFP, if approved, that would go out. This is for property and casualty, general liability, auto liability, professional liability, and workers' compensation pursuant to Nebraska Statute 79515. The process of a district our size and the amount of property and all that does take several months, so that's why we're starting this now. Which generally speaking, you get this out, potential bidder will come in, review numerous items, and then obviously would like to tour the district to look at the facilities and so forth. So that takes time, and then we need to go through that process because we need to be, say, who we're going with by early November. So,
Renewal date's January 1st?
yeah, calendar year, yep. So, but you need to have things in motion by November with the holidays and all that for if we would, for instance, change a company or what have you. So this is step one of this.
Is this on a cycle that we look at this every 5 years or something like that, or just as needed?
Professional services of this type, which is in this statute that I referenced, is a board discretion because you're looking for a professional service, and not any insurance company can insure school districts too. So there's a limited group, and not any agent. They have to have a certain broker license to do this as well. So.
And it's a lot of work for both Dr. Robinson and for the insurance companies. They have to gather a lot. It's very lengthy and time-consuming. So.
I'd make a motion to grant permission to seek an RFP for district insurance.
I second that motion.
Have a motion by Jake and a second by Jenna. Is there any further discussion? Please vote.
Motion carried 6-0.
Thank you, Mary. 8.8, discuss, consider, and take action to approve the first reading of Board Policy 9141 related to board member attendance. Dr. Thompson.
Thank you. As Dr. Hatfield mentioned earlier, we are asking for approval of first reading on Board Policy 9141 related to board member attendance. This policy was recommended by our school attorney in order to match Nebraska Revised Statute 32-570, which indicates if a board member is absent for more than 2 consecutive regular meetings of the board, and not excused, then that seat becomes vacant.
The way I understood it in our policy meeting is anytime, every meeting we've got to vote if someone's gone, and then we've got to vote whether we're going to excuse them or unexcuse them. Is that correct?
Correct. If this is passed, then at every meeting we will vote to excuse a board member.
Or unexcused based on the reason or no reason that they have not shown up.
Yes.
And part of it is the timeliness of it. Like if you just don't even ask to be excused, you're not excused. You can't just not show up. Correct?
Yes.
Correct.
And so what we discussed in policy committee is that we would make a motion anytime someone's gone to excuse Brenda. And then as a board, if that person, you might say, does anyone know where Brenda is? Has anyone heard from Brenda? And if not, you could choose to vote to not excuse. But we would make the motion anyway so that each time we had a vote yes or no. But it's just about good communication and about letting people know ahead of time. Or if there's something that happens on your way here, clearly, as soon as is safely possible to let someone know. And then we talked about at a future board meeting, if there was an emergency or an extenuating circumstance, you could actually do something in the agenda with a motion to say, oh, well, Brenda, was actually, there was a horrible car accident and she was delayed because of that. It wasn't because she was just out, having drinks at 4:11 or something, right? So anyway, that was a
But
bad
at the
example.
same time, school board attendance is very important, but there's still family time or work time or times when you cannot make it. And so it's, again, like Tammy said, it's about communication and saying, I have this family trip planned, or I have this work commitment. It doesn't mean that, like, if you're not here, you're unexcused.
Same time, I was for this policy just because it is you are voted in by the public to be on this board, and it is a commitment, and I know our lives are all busy, but yet we made a commitment to the city of or to all our patrons, our voters, to be here and to be active in this board. So if at all possible, we need to be here.
By voting at every meeting, that gives us the flexibility if there was to be someone who had several absences from those regular meetings and always communicated to us a reason, but if we started to feel like some of those reasons maybe didn't seem to, take precedent over their commitment that they gave to being on the board, we have that ability that even though they communicated to us that they would be gone, we as a board can still hold them accountable by voting to not allow an excused absence. I think in the past, our practice had always been we only voted if someone was not here, and we've never had an issue in the past. This hasn't come about because we have a current issue. It's just we're wanting to make sure we have policies for best practices put into place for years to come. But in the past, it was only if someone was not in attendance. Usually they had a reason, and the reason was read aloud, and then we all voted to excuse them. We've never had where we had to just be like, oh, we don't know where they are, so we vote that they're not excused. But if that were to happen, we would also vote in that situation as well. But we, in our policy committee meeting, really liked that we had the flexibility as a board to hold our board members accountable if we felt like someone wasn't fulfilling their duty to this board.
Did we make a motion or no? Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the first reading of Board Policy 9141 related to board member attendance.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion by Jake and a second by Brenda. Is there further post-discussion?
So just to let everybody know, we also, Dr. Thompson ran this by the lawyers, so it's all legalese and correct so that we're following all the state laws too.
Okay, please vote.
Motion carried 6-0.
Thank you, Mary. And 8.9 is to discuss, consider, and take action to approve the first reading of Board Policies 1211 related to Title IX complaints of sexual harassment, 3132 related to internal controls, 3540 related to bidding construction projects, 4009 related to drug and substance use and abuse, 4133 related to substitute teachers, 6600 related to special education, 8346 related to public participation at board meetings, 8343 related to agenda construction and control, and 9340 related to board minutes. Dr. Thompson.
Thank you. As Dr. Hatfield mentioned, all of these policies were recommended by Perry Law Firm in order to comply with recent changes to state statute or federal regulations. Our team reviewed them very carefully, and we're either already following these or can make very easy changes to make sure that we do in the future.
I make a motion to approve the first reading of the policies listed.
Second that?
We have a motion by Jenna and a second by Leanne. Is there any discussion? Please vote.
Motion carried 6-0.
Thank you, Mary. And that brings us to future meetings. The second monthly meeting of the Board of Education has been tentatively scheduled for noon on Thursday, June 23rd, 2022. Do we know?
I kind of doubt that we will need it, but if you could keep it on your calendar, just in case an art teacher or a special ed teacher magically applies in the next 10 days, we would be very grateful.
The next regular meeting of the Board of Education will be held on Monday, July 11th, 2022. There will not be a study session. The regular business meeting will start at 5:30 p.m. All components of these meetings will be held at the MPS Central Administration offices and will be open to the public unless an executive session is needed in order to protect the interest of the district or the reputation of an individual. Meeting adjourned.